Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Aliyah. If you're new here, thanks so much for stopping by. I still can't believe I've gotten my first 500 subscribers since I started this channel. Thank you so much for believing in me, and to all my new subscribers, thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. Just keep the motivations coming and I'll definitely keep the contents coming. Okay, so let's get into the video. So on today's tutorial, I'll be teaching you how to draft an A-line dress with buttons at the center front skirt area and also a triangle shape design at the center front top waist area, like you can see in the picture. So you will need these measurements. You need your bust, your waist, your shoulder to bust, shoulder to under bust, your shoulder to waist measurements, and also your chest measurements. So normally with the chest measurements, I just come up by 2 inches, which I'm going to draw right now. So I'll be naming here as my chest line, here is my bust line, here's my under bust, and then this part is my waist line, and here is the shoulder line. Okay, so after drawing in your lines like this, I'm just gonna go ahead and then draw a dot at this point. So our bust point, my bust point is 7, so 7 divided by 2 is 3.5. And then on the waistline, you go each side by ½ inch, so ½ inch at this side, and then half inch at this other side. Mind you, if you're a very busty person, instead of ½ inch at both sides, you go in by 3/4. If you're a busty person. So I'm just gonna go ahead and then connect our dots like this. Okay, so after drawing in our dots, it's gonna look something like this. So what I'll do next is I'll be going ½ inch from this point. I'm going in ½ inch here, and then ½ inch at this point too. So you go half an inch both sides again. So after marking ½ inch here again, we're just going to draw a straight to the under bust. So just draw a straight line from this point here to the under bust area, and then draw a straight line too from this point here you marked. Okay, so something like this. So the next thing I'll be doing is I'll be joining this point here, the under bust point here, all the way to this bust point here. So just use your curve to do that, and I'll do that same thing to the other side. So the next thing we're going to do is we'll be drawing the neckline and then the armhole. So the neckline I'll be using, well, anyways, with this design we don't really need a neckline, but it's just to guide us. So I use 3 inches here, and from the 3-inch line, or from the 3-inch point here, just go in 4 inch for your shoulder, and on that point I'll come down by 1 inch for my shoulder slope, and then connect this point here to meet this point. Make sure it's up to 4 inches. Okay, then just square it across to the chest line. So on the shoulder line, I'll be dividing the shoulder slope here by 2. So here's 4 inches. 4 inches divided by 2 is 2. So just make sure that whatever you have, just divide it by 2. And then draw a straight line to meet the bust point like this. So now I'm going to be drawing the top part. So I'll be coming up 3.5 inches from the bust line here. I'll be coming up 3.5 because I don't want my bust area to show. So if you want your bust to be covered, you can go ahead and use 3.5 or 4 inches. And if you also want it to show, measure the distance between the bust line to the under bust. It's 3 inches. Mine is 3 inches. So just on the bust line, just go up by 3 inches. That's if you want your bust to show. But if you don't want it to show, you can just go ahead and use 3.5 or 4 inches or more, depending on how covered you want the bust side to be. So I'll be using 3.5 for mine. So I'm just going to draw a straight line here, like so. Okay, so at this top part, I'll be going in 3/4 at this point. That's the side going towards the armhole. That's 3/4 here, and I'll be going in 1 inch here for the side coming towards the center front. You can go ahead and then leave it 1 inch, 1 inch, or the 3/4 to it, just fine. So anyhow you want to do it is fine. So I'm just going to connect the points like so. Connect it to the bust point here, and then do that same thing to the other side. So it will look like this after you're done drawing it. Make sure that when you're drawing the curves here, it's not too pointy here at this point. If not, it would affect your work. So the next thing I'm going to do is, you see the point here, I went in by 3/4, and then here I went in 1 inch. I'll be doing that same thing to the shoulder line. So the part going towards the armhole, I went in 3/4, right? So I'll be marking my 3/4 here, and then the part going towards the center front, I marked in 1 inch. So I'll just be marking in the 1 inch here. Then I'll be drawing it to meet this point here. Then I'll draw this point to here. So whatever measurements you have here, just do the same thing to the shoulder here. So now we're going to be working with the armhole. So my bust divided by 4 is 9. So I'll be placing that measurement on my chest line here. That's 9 inches. And then make sure that you place the dot here towards the side. So whatever you have here, mine is 3/4, so add 3/4 to the side here. So to get the armhole, we're just going to be folding this side here on that side. So that's the part we marked here. Just fold it on the other side like this. Make sure the lines meet. So we're going to draw our new shoulder line again, and then the armhole. So this is how it's going to be. So from this point, I'm going to be I'm going to be marking my shoulder again, which is 4 inches, and then 1 inch for the slope. So we don't need the first one we marked anymore. So I'll just be connecting it here. Make sure it's 4 inches. So this is our new shoulder line here. Then square it straight down to the chest line. Okay, so this will be our new armhole here. Okay, so we are going to be finding the midpoint of the line here, which is 3.5 for me, and then go in 1/2 inch here. So before drawing the curve here, go ahead and then add your allowance. I went ahead to add 1 inch allowance here. So that's after you've divided the bust, your bust by 4. So mine was 9 inches, and then I placed the dot here to the side here. Then I also went ahead to add my 1 inch allowance. So if you want to add more, it's fine. So after adding your allowance, you can just go ahead and then draw the lines to meet. So this is how it will look like. So I'm going to be drawing my center front sweetheart neckline now. So on the chest line here, I'll just go in by 1/2 inch. If you want yours deeper, you can go in more than 1/2 inch, depending on how deep you want that side to be. Then I'll just be connecting it with my curve like this to this point. So this is how it will look like after you're done drawing it. So we don't need this part. We don't need the center front area, but we need this side here. So if you're going to cut out, we'll cut out this point here. That's for 1, and then the other side here for 2. So it's time for putting in our measurements. So on the waistline here, our waist divided by 4. So my waist is 29. 29 divided by 4 is 7.25. So I'm just going to be marking it like this. I have 2.5 at the first dot leg, so just transfer the 2.5 to the end here, and then mark out your waistline like so, and then add your allowance. So like I said, mine will be 1 inch allowance. So when you're done, just go ahead and then use your curve to connect the points together. like this. So I went ahead to use a different color to deepen it a bit so it doesn't confuse you as to the top side wouldn't confuse you guys, like so. So when I'm gonna cut out, I'll be cutting out this point here and then here. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'll be putting in my triangle design here. So it depends on you how wide you want it to be. So I came down 1 inch from this point. So if you want yours more exposed, you can go up by you can use 1/2 inch at this point or 3/4 instead of 1 inch, but 1 inch is good for me. And then on the waistline here, I'll be going in by 1.5 inch. You can also go ahead to use 2 inches. So after marking the 1.5 inch, just go ahead and then use your ruler to line them like so. So by the time I'm done sewing it, the width of the triangle will be 3 inches since I use 1.5. And if you use 2 inches, the width will become 4 inches since we are working with just this half part here. So the last thing I'll be doing for this front pattern is I'll be marking out my side dart. My bust is 36, so I'll be using 2 inches for my side dart. If your bust is smaller than mine, you can go ahead and then use 1.5. And if your bust is way bigger, you can use 2.5 inches. So for mine, I'll just be using 2 inches here. And at the bust point, go in by 1 inch. And then just connect the points to meet like this. So that's my side dart here. So for this side dart, when I'm done cutting it out, I'll transfer this side dart to this part here so it becomes wider. So I'm just gonna go ahead to cut it for you guys to see. So we are going to be drafting our back now. I've gone ahead to put my measurements here. My bust, shoulder to bust, shoulder to this is my chest line here. I came up 2 inches from the bust line, and this is my waistline. But we don't even need this waistline anymore since we closed the side dart here. So just go ahead and then measure the side front pattern like this. Mine is 6.25. So whatever measurement you have, place it from the chest line and then mark it out, and that will be your new waistline. So this is no longer my waistline here. This is my new waistline. So with this one, I'm just going to go ahead and then place my bust span measurement, 7 divided by 2, that's 3.5. So place it on the bust line like so, and then just do that same thing for the waistline. Measure 1/2 inch at each side, and then just connect them to draw a dart. So at the bust line here, this point here, just go in 1/2 inch at each side too. And then draw a straight line from the 1/2 inch here to meet the dart leg like so. And do that same thing for the other side. Okay, so it will look something like this after you're done. So at the top part here, I went ahead to mark my 3 inches here. So I'll be drawing in my shoulder slope. Remember, we use 4, so I'll be maintaining my 4 here, or whatever you have. Just go ahead and then maintain it at the back too. Make sure it's up to 4 inches. So I'm going to be finding the midpoint on the shoulder slope like this. So this is 2 inches. Then just draw a straight line to meet the dart point here. So I went in 1/2 inch for this point. So I'm just going to go in 1/2 inch at the top here too. So that's the side going towards the armhole, 1/2 inch, and then I'll connect the points to meet that side too. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'll be continuing this line all the way to the chest line here. So just come up to the chest line from this point. Make sure it's a straight line. It just continues upwards to the chest line. And then on this chest line here, I'm going to be dividing my bust measurement by 4. So mine is 9 inches. So I'm just going to measure 9 inches like this. And then replace this dot here. So mine is it's almost 1.5. So whatever you have there, just go ahead and then replace it at this point here. And then add your allowance. Okay, so this is how mine will look like. So I'm just going to take my fronts, my side fronts like this, measure whatever I have here at the top part. So mine is 3.25. Then I'll come and transfer it from this point here. We don't need this side anymore. So from the ½ inch you came in, then you mark your 3.25. But make sure that you come down 1 inch at that point here to get your new shoulder slope. So I'll just be connecting the point from here, from this point here, all the way to this point here. So this will be my new shoulder slope. Okay, so I'll be squaring that all the way to the chest line like so, and then divide here by 2. Mine is 3.5. So just connect this point all the way to the measurement you marked here. Okay, so it will look like this after you're done marking it. So we're going to put in the rest of our measurements at this point here. So my waist line is my waist divided by 4. Mine is 7.25. To the first dart leg here, that's 3 inches. So I'm just transferring it and marking my 7.25 plus 1 inch. I'm just gonna go ahead and use my curve to join the points together like so. So the last thing I'm going to do is I'll be drawing in my back slope like so. So I'm just going to connect these points like this. I don't want my slope to go in too much, so I'll just be going ½ inch from my chest line, ½ inch like this. Then I'll use my curve to join the points. So you're going to use your curve to join it from this point here to the ½ inch you marked. So after drawing it and then you open it, it will look something like this. We don't need this point anymore. So what I'm going to cut out is I'll be cutting out this here and then that one here. And for this dress, I'll be using a zipper. So I'll be going in ½ inch from my waist, at my waist area here. And then I'm just going to connect it from the slope we came down here to that ½ inch. Okay, so whatever, I went in here by ½ inch, right? So I'm just going to replace it at the waist area here. So you can actually even do that before connecting the points together. Okay, so just like the front piece, we'll have 2 pieces for the back too. So I'm just gonna go ahead and then cut it out. So it's time for us to cut our skirt. So the skirt is an A-line, so which means that it's not fitted, it's a bit wider at the hem-line here. So mind you, I just realized I ran out of my white paper, so I'm just gonna go ahead and use this brown paper to draft the skirt for you guys. So with this skirt, you need your waist measurement, your waist to hip, and then the length you'll be using for your skirt. So I've just gone ahead to draw the lines, like as you can see here. After you're done drawing the lines on the waistline, go in by 1.5 inch. Do that same thing for the hip and then the hem. Then you go ahead and then connect the points to meet. So it will look like this. 1.5, this is the part where I'll be putting or adding my buttons. So the buttonholes, the buttons and everything is the reason why I've left 1.5 at the center front here. So with the waist measurement, mine is 7.25. So start from this 1 inch, from this line here. Don't start all the way from the center front. So 7.25. So on this skirt pattern, I'll be adding 2-inch allowance. So on the hip line, mine is 10.75. So I'll just place it like this, mark it, and then add my seam allowance of 2 inches to that side here. So since the hem is a bit wider, whatever you have for your hip line, you can go ahead and then add 2 inches or 3 inches to it. So the hip line I had here was 10.75. I'll just mark the same thing here for the hem. So since that side is wider, if I add my 2-inch allowance here, let's say, okay, I'll go ahead and then add maybe 2 more inch here, so that that side becomes a bit wider. So in all, after marking my 10.25, I added additional 2-inch here and then my 2-inch allowance here. So if you want it wider, you can just go ahead and then add, maybe use 3 inches at this point instead of 2 inches. I hope I'm not confusing you guys. So just go ahead and then connect all the points together. So I'll not be using any darts here. That's why I haven't added any darts at this point. So with the design we are doing, so it has a waistband. So the waistband, you can decide to use 1.5 or 2 inches for it. So for me, I'll be using 1.5 for my waistband here. So I'll be separating my waistband from the skirt here. So when I'm going to cut out, I'll cut my waistband separately from this skirt block here. So at the back, I also went ahead to put in my measurements, my waist to hip, and then the length. So with this outfit we are doing, you can either choose to make it a 2-piece outfit, or you can choose to make it a dress. So 2-piece meaning that you wear the top separately from the skirt, because the skirt will have buttons at the front. So you can go ahead and then do that. Or when you're making the dress, since it's a dress, we'll have to put a zipper at the back. So which means that there'll be buttons at the front skirt and then zipper at the back. So if you're okay with that, that one, you can go ahead and do it that way. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be making it a dress. So I'll be adding zipper at the back and then maintaining the buttons at the front. So with this one, just go in 1 inch at the center back here. Go in 1 inch like so. Then just draw a straight line. So since I'm working with the zipper, I'm going to be shaping the back here. That's the center back here. So on this 1 inch point, go in 1 inch again. So from this point here, just take a curve and then connect it from this point all the way to the hip. So this will be our new center back. So with the back side, the zipper side, I'm going to be maintaining my 1 inch zipper allowance. If you want to use more than 1 inch, go ahead and then mark it at this point here. So do that, just mark it from here all the way to the hem. And then connect all the points together. Okay, so we don't need this side anymore. This side here will be my new zipper line. So on these measurements, I'm going to be putting in my waist. So from this point here, plus 2 inch allowance for me. Do that same thing for the hip line. Place it on the second line here, so that it doesn't affect your zipper allowance. And then for the hem too, I'll just be maintaining my measurements I use for the front. So plus 2 inch for extension and 2 inch for allowance. Like I said, you can use 3 inch instead of 2 inches. Depending on how wide you want that side to be. So just go ahead and then connect all the points to meet. Okay. So the back two will be going in 1.5 inch from the waistline to get our band, our waistband here. Okay, so this is our back band. So we're done with the skirts. I'm just going to cut it out. So our patterns are ready to be cut out and sewn, which I'll be doing in my next tutorial. So make sure to hit the notification bell so it alerts you when I post it. I'll also be cutting out the puff sleeve in the next tutorial as well, and adding all my necessary allowance on the fabric before cutting it out. So don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel for more contents like this. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.